all these conspiracy theories going around, I seen one that made the most sense. This girl said, everybody is getting all of this shit confused. This shit is about old money versus new money. And that made the most fucking sense, right? Because we know corruption, all of this cool shit, right? Everybody knows that everything is owned by a very specific few families. Everybody knows this. This is known information. Media, food, restaurants, major corporations, they all tie back down to like a few different affluent families. That's the old money. This is known facts. That media, everything has been owned by a very specific group of people. And for the life of me, I'm like, these niggas own everything already. Like, what the fuck? I could not wrap my mind around what all this weird shit, this back and forth, all these different billionaires and millionaires linking up, people being in rooms that don't make sense. Why the fuck is these two people or these three people in the same room? None of this shit been making sense until I heard her say that, and everything makes sense. This shit is about new money trying to establish some type of footing in a world that is ran by old money. I don't think that it ever crossed people's mind that there will be one day that a new group of billionaires and trillionaires and millionaires would exist. I don't think that nobody ever entertained the idea of people reaching this level of financial just success outside of these affluent families. And now that they're realizing it, I feel like the new money is trying to figure out how to establish their footing and establish their power when everything is owned and ran by old money. That made the most fucking sense. That's why we see all these niggas in the same room that don't make none. It does not align. But when you think about it like that, yes, it makes sense now. It makes sense.
Move, and if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, keep moving.
Antarctica terrifies me, okay? Literally, bruh. There are so many things about that place that will keep me up at night. We're not even gonna talk about the conspiracies. Oh, TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. None of it's true. But we're not even gonna talk about the conspiracies when it comes to the Antarctica Treaty and how we are prohibited from self-exploration of some parts of Antarctica, and how they made that treaty right after Admiral Byrd took a risk and flew over there to Antarctica, because at that time people didn't do that. It was a huge risk for that day and age. So he did that, and he said that there was a huge, massive hole in Antarctica that he went through, and it was hollow earth type stuff. He went through, and all of a sudden he's seeing all these different kinds of beasts, a rainbow city, lush green land, like straight out of King Kong. Even the movie Ice Age be telling us what's really happening in plain sight. But besides all that, let's just talk about Antarctica as a whole, like what it is without conspiracy. Do y'all know how many times they found ancient rivers under the ice, and how scientists literally confirmed that they feel like a prehistoric animal has emerged from those waters? When are we gonna learn to leave things alone? That's what I want to know. And are we also going to talk about the fact that I believe the bloop, that anomaly with that huge sea creature that they didn't even know what the heck it was, came from Antarctica waters? Are we not going to talk about the fact that the Bermuda Triangle is in Antarctica? Like that whole portal stuff, people just disappearing into thin air in the Bermuda Triangle, or how Antarctica is on a map that was made in 1532. But they tell us it was just discovered 200 years ago. But at the same time, just because it wasn't discovered by Europeans doesn't mean that it never existed. What I do find funny is the fact that in almost all of the maps that Antarctica is mentioned in, it's green. It's not ice. Going back to the large hole, like this is it right here. They said that it's the size of 2 Kansases put together. That's how big this hole is. Considering the fact that we as the public, we can't go there to look for ourselves. We have to rely on what the scientists tell us. It's just a little bit creepy, especially because of the fact that I don't trust them not to touch things or leave things where they're supposed to be. I don't trust them to do that. Apparently, under this hole is a lost civilization. I Don't know nothing about that. I promise you, if there is a lost civilization under there, it's got something to do with the fallen angels. I'll tell you that right now. Genuinely, this place creeps me out more than the Appalachian Mountains. And y'all know how I feel about the Appalachian Mountains. Okay, I have done a whole segment on that on my main channel, but if y'all want me to get into it on this channel, trust me, I can, because the things that I gotta say about the Appalachian Mountains. Anyway, that's not the point. Antarctica's crazy. It's creepy, bro. Like, I literally dare you guys to look up Antarctica at night. Look up the pictures of Antarctica at night and tell me you will not be pooping your pants. That gives Afraid of the Dark a whole other meaning, honey. It's a no for me. So yeah, I don't have anyone to talk about this either with, because if I yap about this to normal people that I meet face to face, they're looking at me like I'm crazy. But I love y'all, and just know that I don't know what I would do without you guys. Anyway, as always, make sure you like and follow and comment down below if you want that Appalachian Mountains.
So we're just gonna all act like what happened about a month ago never happened. So that's what we're doing. We're just gonna sit here and act like just because this was down for about 13, 14 hours, and when it came back up, everything was different. I literally have it on camera, what I saw in the sky. I have video of it. I was following it every day up until this app did what it did. Now we're going to act like it never happened? You can't convince me that what was going on, what we were seeing, what we were witnessing, the reports, the video footage, everything. You can't convince me that everything that was coming, people were saying it was coming out of the ocean. You know why? It's because it was coming from beyond the ice wall. Whatever is behind that ice wall, that's where it's coming from. You can't convince me otherwise. People think that Antarctica is just a big ass piece of ice. That ice wall surrounds us. It surrounds every continent that we know of, that they will tell us about. But what goes beyond that ice wall, what's lying beyond it, are what they call unknown lands. Unknown lands. They know there's land, and they know there's vegetation beyond there. It doesn't matter what direction you go in. It's Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, it doesn't matter. You're going to run into an ice wall. And when you run into it, they're going to stop you, and they're going to threaten you, and they're going to make you turn around because you're not supposed to go that far. Whatever we were seeing coming out of the oceans, that's where it's coming from. And there's no way you can convince me otherwise. And now all of a sudden the conversation's just gone. This was literally not even a whole month and a half ago that this was happening. Everybody was following it. Everybody was keeping up with it. Now we're back to talking about just surface level shit. That's it. Oh, like even me, even myself, I blame myself too, because they won't allow us to say it. But it's happening. Or it did happen. And it almost feels like it never happened. But I have video. A lot of people have video. A lot of people have proof. But when you go outside and you look outside and you look up now, you don't see anything. It's almost like it's crazy. This is crazy. This is gaslighting at best. This is the perfect way or display of gaslighting I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about the ice wall. If y'all follow my main account, you know we delved into Antarctica and how crazy and deceptive everything we know about that place is. Did y'all know that there is a literal treaty with all of the country's signature on it, prohibiting self-exploration of some parts of Antarctica? Why would they prohibit that? And out of everything that the whole world can agree on, it's not ending world hunger, no. It's preventing us from going to parts of Antarctica. This treaty, I believe, was signed 2 years after the mysterious unaliving, or should I say, natural unaliving of Richard E. Byrd. Oh yeah, TikTok's for entertainment purposes only, none of it's real, it's all fake. Okay, so Richard E. Byrd, this is a real person. For everybody that want to say, oh, he never existed, like he literally has journals out there. Now, where you can find the actual journals, I don't know. There's so many things floating around, I don't buy every single copy. But Richard E. Byrd was one of the top aviators of his time, and he decided he wanted to go ahead and explore the areas around Antarctica and the areas in Antarctica. He said to the public right before he croaked that he went to Antarctica and he found lush green land. And it wasn't ice at all. Y'all know how they call Greenland, Greenland, but it's actually ice, and they call it Iceland, Iceland, but it's actually green, that kind of thing. Kind of sounds like that King Kong movie, right? Where he goes into Hollow Earth through the ice. Kind of sounds like Ice Age, right? Like, it's always in plain sight. Let me tell y'all that. On that topic of Antarctica, a lot of people believe that there is a giant ice wall there that protects this lush green land. Now, the validity of that, I'm not sure. But I'm at the point where I don't put it past, I don't put anything past them, because listen, things are always seeming shady. Like, let's not even start talking about NASA. If y'all want me to talk about NASA and the idea of space, how it links to the ocean, Point Nemo, just let me know. I can definitely delve into it on this channel. Yeah, some people say that the Garden of Eden is behind the ice wall. I don't know about that. I haven't did enough research, and honestly I could never really know. I really could never know about Antarctica either. However, Richard E. Byrd's journals is what gives me sufficient enough evidence to be like, okay, something is not being said. I don't know, y'all. I could talk about this stuff for hours, but anyway, make sure you guys like and follow and comment.
Going to somebody's country and taking over because you got dumped is insane. But what's even more insane is when they let you take over. And to that, I have to stand. You gotta follow me for this. There's a woman from New York. She traveled to Pakistan to meet her online lover. This is the part I was like, girl, because the woman was like 30. He 19. 19 is insane. But here's the thing. She traveled over there to meet the man. You know, they hit it off at first. But his family was like, no, you're not finna marry this woman. So he like, my family not gonna let us get married. Sorry. I understand you travel all the way to New York, but you gotta go. So she's like, oh. But the thing is, she doesn't leave. She is still staying in Pakistan, and you might as well say she's the president. She is refusing to leave, and on top of that, she is telling the people how they need to run their country. Pakistan needs to be re-regulated. Pakistan needs order, and how she plans to reshape. Like, you would think she is the president. This is the part that takes me out every time. They co-signing it. Every video I see, they standing right there behind her, y'all. She damn near got a cabinet. Like, they are standing behind her. You can't make this up. Imagine your ex dumped you and they look up, now you in charge. And you got a whole array of people just co-signing your foolishness.
Man, he talk too much. That's it.
Yes, that's it. Yes, yes, I'm saying. ये भी देखे यही मेरी बात की तारीफ कर रही है.
Listen, you talk too much. Thank you. Have a good day.
Just have a seat, sister. Have a seat, please. Please, sit, please, sister. Please. 5 minutes, please. Sister, please.
And what's your plan now?
It's not.
Come here, please come here. Come.
Please sit down. Please
Be
have a seat.
quiet. I'm not sitting down.
Please have a seat.
My plan is to reconstruct this whole country, okay? I'm asking for 100K.
Video of that white man yelling about how they ate Nat Turner. But they didn't just eat Nat Turner. They beheaded him. They skinned him and turned his skin into purses and wallets. They grinded his flesh up and turned it into grease. They used his bones as forms of like hunting trophies. And they passed them down as family heirlooms. I mean, we talking about the people who use the hair of enslaved people to stuff furniture. So this isn't that surprising, is it? I don't know. Like, it just seems as if, like, are white people just finding this out? Is this really new information? It said that to this day, there are people who own parts of Nat Turner's body, his ears. To this day, he still never received a proper burial. They didn't just eat him.
I know that there was an enslaved man who stole a Confederate ship, won his freedom, and then changed the entire political system. You ever wonder why we barely learn about Black revolutionaries outside of MLK and Malcolm X? Because if we did, we would recognize the playbook that they're still using against us today. So let me put you on to Robert Smalls. Imagine being enslaved, working on a Confederate ship during the Civil War. But instead of just surviving, you say,
I'm leaving here with something.
That's exactly what Robert Smalls did in 1862. While the white Confederate officers were asleep on land, Smalls and his crew hijacked the ship. He put on the captain's hat, used the correct passcodes, and sailed right through Confederate checkpoints like he belonged there. Once he got to Union-controlled waters, he surrendered the ship and freed his family, his crew, and their families. This man stole a Confederate ship in the middle of a war. It doesn't get any more iconic than that. why don't they have a movie about this man yet? Do they have a movie? But he didn't stop there. After the war, he went from being a fugitive to being elected to Congress. Come up of the century. He helped write legislation that created the first public school system in South Carolina, which eventually led to public education all throughout the South. He fought for Black voting rights during Reconstruction, making sure that newly freed Black men could actually participate in democracy. And that's exactly why they came for him. After the Reconstruction, white supremacists saw how much power Black voters had. So they started passing voter suppression laws to strip that away. Poll taxes, literacy tests, and gerrymandering. Fast forward to today, new voter suppression laws, gerrymandering that dilutes Black votes, and attacks on public schools are still happening. That same playbook that they used against Robert Smalls in the 1800s is still being used today. Robert Smalls didn't just steal a Confederate ship. He stole power back from a system that tried to erase him. And they've been fighting to take that power back ever since. Every time they attack voting rights, that's because they remember what Black voters did during Reconstruction. Every time they defund public schools, that's because they know education means power. They don't teach us about Robert Smalls because his story proves that when Black people gain power, the system moves fast to strip it away. They don't want us to know our history because if we did, we'd understand just how much power we actually have. Say his name. Robert Smalls.
We're in the middle of a hostile government takeover. I want to talk about it, but I'll be late for work. And if you're saying, wait a minute, who we have to stop this? We had one, but you didn't want the lady in office. Now that we're a part of a Nigerian prince scam, surprise, surprise, it ended up being a white man. Oh, I just want to know, what the hell do I do? Probably drink.